On today's Business Talk, we are going to talk about regional elections. Now, according to National Research and Innovation Agency, or locally known as BRIN, Chief Researcher, the 2024 local elections or regional elections will give a positive impact on national economic growth. And the spending allocated for these elections, both from the central government and the candidates, are expected to increase public consumption. And to know more about the impact of the local elections that the regional elections will have on the economy sector, we have Chief Economist from Bank Permata, Joshua Pardede. Hello, Joshua. Welcome back to the studio.
Hi, Kai. Thanks.
It's always nice to have you around to chit-chat about something special that is happening, this the regional elections. So different from the presidential elections, right? Researchers from BRIN have said that this particular election, the 2024 one, is projected to give positive impact on the national economy. Then how big is the impact to Indonesian economy from regional elections? Is it different how it's impacted when it's the presidential and general elections?
Well, if we compare with regional election compared to presidential election, I think the impact to the economy, I think quite more limited, yeah. The impact of the regional election to the economy. Even though I think typically, of course, the election could lead to the election activities, like for example, like campaigning, people engagement, and then sort of about the logistical arrangement, media. I think transportation, logistic. I think those sectors should be boosted by the election activities. Yeah. But looking at the budget allocated to the regional election, I think a bit smaller compared to presidential election. So I think my forecast, I think the impact to the national economy, I think less than 0.1 percentage of point, to the 2024 GDP. Yeah, I think very limited. Yeah, but again, I think of course, I think, but not the impact after the regional election. Yeah, because some of the participants of the candidates must promise something to their voters. Yeah, so that's why I think how to develop the economies, how to develop the infrastructure, local infrastructure. So I believe that the impact to the economy, to the local economy, will be higher after the elections.
So it's not the regional elections itself, but what happens after the regional elections, because the hope is to vote for someone who will, bring forth the regional economy of the province itself, right? So are there differences in how rural and urban areas would benefit economically from post-election, let's say? Because they're the policymakers, right?
So actually, if we compare rural and urban, I think for sure the candidates should focus on urban areas, because urban areas is more dense population, so they can gain higher voters on the urban areas. Yeah, so I still believe that the development on the urban areas still relatively high, because maybe the participation from the voters also relatively high. And then, of course, when we're talking about the impact to the urban area, I think because the campaign should be more focused on the urban area, of course, the impact to the urban area, the economic impact to the urban area is more higher. Yeah, it's higher compared to the rural area. Yeah, but of course, still, if we're talking about the rural areas, again, candidates should promise about how to develop the inequality, maybe how to develop the job creation, and then maybe to maybe related to the agricultural sectors, to the farmers, to the maybe related to the fishermen, maybe something programs that in the future that the candidates should promise. I think something that related to their welfare, to the rural people in the welfare in the future. Yeah. So I think, but the comparison, I think the impact, whether rural or urban, I think the short-term impact in urban is higher, but in the longer-term impact, I think rural areas should be higher, yeah, because the aspiration to develop rural area is maybe higher compared to the urban areas.
Because it requires different treatment, right? It requires different treatment when urban, you are already developing an existing economy, whereas you are still developing the rural areas and what works for them. So that makes it really interesting. But I actually have a very interesting question, because we have 30-something provinces here in Indonesia. Yeah. Is there happen to be any data where budgets or development will be focused in the next cycle of this next post-election? Because I feel like development now is not as Jakarta-centric as it was previously, right? Yeah, yeah. So that's why it's predicted to be more beneficial for outside of the Java Island as well. Which regions or areas do you see growing economically as well, benefiting most in the next couple of years?
I think first thing first, going forward, the local government should align with the central government. That's, I think, the initiative from President Prabowo. Yeah. So when we assess what the program priorities from President, I think related to downstreaming, downstreaming to the nickel, to the copper, and then basic metals, and related to the maybe fishery, fishery products, such as fishery, and then related to the agriculture products. Yeah, I think, and then not to mention also the central government wants to improve the productivity in the manufacturing sectors, in Java. Other than that, I think the government also wants to develop the infrastructure, the logistics in the local areas, So that's why I think, other than that, I think the local government should be more creative, because they have to realize, they have to be aware what's the sectors that can attract investors, because I think in the past, local government somehow they are a bit reluctant, to attract investment, so they are not friendly to the investors. So I think in terms of the regulations, instead of making easier regulation, they make it more difficult, to the investors. So I think the mindset in the futures, I think the local government has to be more creative in attracting investment, and then they have to realize what kind of sectors that need to be promoted, and then need to be aligned with the central government. Of course, looking at the downstreaming, should be in Sulawesi, Maluku, and then Nusa Tenggara. I think that those areas related to downstreaming. But of course, we have also some kind of assets, like natural resources, that is related to the tourism. I think all areas or regions in Indonesia, I think we are embraced with the natural resources. So that's why I think the local government also have to promote the local tourism. So that's why I think by doing this, I think the central government also can support. What kind of maybe for support of budget, or maybe support of policies, support of fiscal incentive. It's possible if the local government needs to attract investors in the future. So I think there has to be alignment, between the central government and then local government, because without that, I think the local government also cannot do themselves without any support from the central government, and then the central government itself also cannot do the top of mind of the macro level strategies without support from the local government. So I think there has to be a good orchestra in terms of coordination between local government and then central government.
So I think it's very interesting to know that how things are run in the past and what kind of mindset needs to be shifting, because governments in general need to be in sync and in alignment, right? So this is an interesting question though. Do regions with higher voter turnout actually experience greater economic benefit post-election or during election?
I think that's related that what I mentioned earlier, that higher vote turnout, I think we'll have a greater aspiration, yeah, from and then from the central government point of view, of course, because this lead to the higher, of course, the higher participation from the local local areas, yeah, local people there. So that's why I think the central government, the local government can also say something to the central government. Hey, central government, our people here participate a lot to the local regional elections. So and then looking at the situation here, for example, like the people here needs the improvement in the maybe physical infrastructure. Yeah. And maybe there has to be some kind of a support from the central government. So I think the central government can put priorities on the higher voter turnout. Yeah. And there's also kind of higher engagement as well, yeah, from the higher voter turnout to the local government, because they can also participate in a policy communication, yeah, policy discussion, whether this is suitable to the people or not, yeah, suitable to the economy or not. So I think the engagement to the policy decision from the local government should be higher as well. So I think this should be, so we have to promote again to the people to participate to the regional election tomorrow.
I like what you said when you said with higher participation rates means the higher the aspirations and the higher the people will want to be involved, you know, in making sure that the government, you know, listen to them and create policies that would benefit the people. So do you think this positive impact will continue after the elections?
Yeah, hopefully, yeah, because check and balance should be happening in the future, and then of course I think we have seen, yeah, some local leaders, local regional leaders that have been developed there himself. Yeah, I think we have looked at some areas or regions in Indonesia also have been developing their areas, their regions as well. So I think we hope that the continuation of the success of the recent local leaders should be continued by the next leaders. Yeah, I think that's to in order to get the higher voters for the incoming leaders, at least they have to maintain what's the success story from the previous leaders. So I think this should be the continuation of the success story in the previous era should be also followed by the incoming next leader. So I believe this would have positive impact as well to the local government and then regional economy in the future.
It's really interesting because sometimes it feels like when we're having presidential elections and then we have the regional elections, like the aspirations are somewhat similar, but it feels separated in its implementation from what the central government wants. So what do you think can you know, these regional leaders or future regional leaders do to make sure that they're more aligned? Because you mentioned that probably those with more turnout will you know, be more of priority points and of interest of the central government as well. But what initiatives can regional government actually do to be more aligned to the strategic plans that's set by central government?
I think it has been done, yeah, because maybe last month, maybe the Vice President already mentioned to the most local government, local leaders, that there's only one programs, President's programs. So I think that's very clear, yeah. The local government in the future, even though they have their own constituent in the local, local government, but they have to be aligned with the central government again, because when they align with the central government, for example, maybe they have maybe they have more luxury, maybe in terms of maybe about the budget disbursement, maybe for example, they have maybe the Minister of Finance maybe need to impose some kind of reward and punishment, for the local government who can disburse the the budget quickly and productively. They will get another central government support to the local government. So I think there has to be a mechanism to support, meaning that to gain support from the local government to be aligned with the central government.
One of it is the free meal program, right? What do you think about it? Do you think it'll be an instant success, or does it need more time to be implemented?
So in my honest opinion, I think this free meal program, makan bergizi gratis, needs to be decentralized. Meaning, for example, like for the local SME players, in the nearby the schools, for example, like street vendors that can sell for gado-gado or bubur, I think they can sell, they can change the menu every day, Of course, the quality of menu should be monitored well, by the school or by the parents, So because we have to think the impact to the local economy, to the local SME business players, Because if the mechanism is fully centralized, I think the impact, the trickle-down impact to the economy, I think we're very limited, So that's why I think for some regions, that is maybe for some more isolated areas like in Papua, of course there has to be this centralized, maybe dapur umum there, But for the Java areas, I think Kalimantan, we still have local SME players there. So we have to, the mechanism of the makan bergizi gratis should be decentralized rather than centralized.
Yeah, it's very interesting to outsource the food or create infrastructure within the school premises itself, because I understand President Prabowo has taken a look at a lot of success stories from abroad where schools have their own cafeterias, right? And how that will align or involve SMEs around them would be very interesting to watch. So thank you so much, Joshua, for the insight. As always, a pleasure to have you here. And that was our conversation on local elections or regional elections for today's Business Talk. And you can stay connected with us on Instagram, X, and YouTube. Our handle is at CToday News. We're also available online at ctodaynews.com.